You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
Yeah. Aha, you could almost hear that. I was trying to do the Count impression from Sesame Street. Anyways, it's Monday, January 5th. Georgia had to run back outside to the car for a sec, so we're just getting this party started anyways. So Happy New Year. It's now 2015. If anybody that's playing the home game knows that on, I believe it's October 21st of this year is Back to the Future Day. But this whole year we pretty much revel in the fact that we don't have flying cars as standard. There's no hoverboard conversions or hover car conversions.
We didn't die December 21st.
Yep. Nobody died 2 years ago on 2012.
Oh, no one died.
Nope. But I was talking about how this year is Back to the Future year.
God.
Well,
These all smell like exhale. Don't exhale on a microphone.
I don't.
Not in my bong the other day. It smelled similar.
This smells normal to me, but what do I know? I'm smoking marijuana.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm totally listening. I didn't mean to be so rude.
Well, just that 2015 is Back to the Future year. So it's like I watched Back to the Future on Saturday. Me and Sarah watched all three Back to the Futures and then
Sarah
played
and Sarah and I.
I almost always get that right, so fuck off!
Well, you didn't this time.
But I didn't, so.
Want to split this with me?
No, go ahead. It looks like dark chocolate. I'm not a big fan of dark chocolate.
It's okay.
Dang, I thought we were going to at least bite it in half and see what was in it, and then I could go, oh, shit, that's caramel. Yeah, Nope, didn't want it. All right, well, that worked out well. It's chocolate full of nuts. Anyways, Back to the Future year. So we watched Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3 over the weekend.
In 3?
3 was my favorite one. That was the one where they went back to 1885. So, oh, God, that one's so much fun.
I don't have to watch it. I've never seen it.
Really? Mm-mm. Wow. Like Back to the Future 2 and 3 came out pretty close to each other. Those ones, I think they had filmed them roughly at the same time. What was really cool about Back to the Future 3 is that recently Sarah and I went to California, and we had gone to one of the beaches in Ventura where she grew up, and we had parked. I didn't know, whatever. We're going seemingly random. She goes, we park, and we walk. We walk across these train tracks, get over to the beach, like sidewalk, and we walk down, and we go do our stuff. We meet up with one of her friends and her man and whatever, and we go walk for like half an hour. We're playing on the beach, whatever. Come back, we get some food, and then as we're leaving, we're getting close to the car, and Sarah's like, hey, come over here for a sec, out in the middle of the street. And I'm like, you're standing in the middle of the street on railroad tracks. Like, are you fucked or what? And she's like, no, just come on. And I look around, and there's no traffic. So it's like, all right, God damn it, whatever, fine.
You're so easy, Jer.
I really am. I really am. And I go over and I stand in the middle of these train tracks, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, what? She's like, looking at me like, she's like, do you notice anything? And it's like, I noticed that we're standing in the middle of the street in the middle of train tracks in California. I don't know. She's like, this is where Back to the Future 3, they filmed the DeLorean scene on the train tracks. I was like, no, I just came unglued.
Of course you did. Did you kiss the tracks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I hugged them. I kissed them, ran up and down the tracks. A little later, I found some pictures online that showed other people had taken pictures of the same spot and compared it to the movie.
Nice.
And either one of two things have happened since the movie. Either A, they brought in giant tall palm trees that are existing there now, or B, they digitally edited them out of the movie so that you did not know where they were. Oh. Because at no point in any of the shots was there ever a palm tree. But when you're in that area in California, there's palm trees all over the place.
Interesting.
So, I mean, not so much so that they couldn't shoot there.
Sure.
But enough to where the scenery that they were shooting, like they added in a bridge. There's an orange bridge that they roll over that they're building. Oh, you haven't seen number 3. Can't wait. But it's great. But the point of the whole thing is that it's 2015, so I'm Back to the Future 2. When they go ahead into the future, they come to this year.
This is a good year.
So watching it again and seeing, okay, well, some of that's like doable. The cars, nothing. They don't look anything like what they did for that. But I watched some of the extras, which was kind of fascinating. And they're like, oh, we hired a bunch of futurists that came in and designed all this stuff and
Nice.
and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, Jaws 19 wasn't right, and it's a giant hologram that comes out. We're working on that stuff, but not there yet.
Right.
There is a hoverboard. It's, there was that video that came out that had the fake hoverboard. It looked exactly like Back to the Future 2's. It had Tony Hawk and a bunch of other famous people playing on it, and everybody endorsed it. But it was a hoax video. It was an April Fool's video. But at the end of last year, a real video came out.
Last week?
Well, it was more towards, I think, November.
Oh, okay.
So maybe beginning of December.
Okay.
That like a real hoverboard came out, and then it showed Tony Hawk riding it and falling off of it because it's not.
Yes, I saw.
And it's like, wow, all right. And we do have flying cars, not like in the movie, and they're certainly not readily available to the average person. But if you look it up, there are several different car designs out there that actually have wings and that can fly. But otherwise, they pretty much tanked that one.
Does every stoner love the Back to the Future trilogy?
Well, I don't know if it's every stoner, but I don't know. People my age, when we grew up, that movie came out in what, like 84, 85, 86, somewhere in there. The center's around 1985, so I just assume it's 85. Yeah. So I was, 9 years old. We all got skateboards. That changed everything for us, out here in Colorado. Sarah's like, oh, we've been skateboarding long before. That's like, yeah, but that was started in whatever.
Right.
Don't need it. I get it. California is cooler. The trends just move out. I get it. Thank you.
Right. I saw 2 movies this weekend. I don't see movies that often.
Were they adult movies? And I don't mean adult movies, but I mean, were they like for grown-ups? Or were they like G-rated cartoon type movies?
No, I saw the third Hobbit.
Ooh.
That's good.
It was. I'm not a Hobbit, Lord of the Rings kind of geeky girl. That's not me. Maybe my favorite movie I've ever seen in my life.
I was going to say, then whatever you say is going to have much more credibility. Like when somebody doesn't smoke marijuana, for example, and they support it. Oh, wow.
Huh.
So many coincidences here, Georgia.
People who don't really like J.R.R. Tolkien, or they don't really like The Lord of the Rings, but if you just like a good movie, you like the Hobbit trilogy.
Well, and I read the book, obviously, and so I like how well it followed the book. It's so stunningly beautiful. You guys know that Thorin dies. That sucked.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, thanks for killing that. I only read half the book when I was in jail.
Yeah.
And it just got, it got a little boring.
Yeah, Thorin gets killed by an orc.
Sweet.
Awful.
Thanks for ruining that shit.
Awful.
But it's different than the book.
How's it different?
I didn't read the book, but my cousin who read the book said it's different. Like the big scary dude's not in the book.
I don't think your mic's on.
Gavin said it was different too. And he read it most recently. Right. So saw that, loved it, fantastic.
Wait, Gavin read that book?
We have a rule in our house that you have to read the book before you see the movie. So
nice.
He wanted to see the first Hobbit. And The Hobbit, for those of you who have not had a chance to read it, first of all, you should. It's a tough book. It's a tough book for adults. Gavin was 7 when he read it, so we did a lot of reading it together. I would read a page, he would read a page kind of thing. But he remembered the whole thing and, comprehended everything.
Nice.
So great. I thought it was great. I loved it. We saw it at the IMAX, so we lived it. Not as long as I think the second movie was like 3 hours long, which is too long for me. I don't have the attention span to sit, even though it was a great movie. But then I saw a movie that you've seen this weekend.
Which is?
Maleficent.
That was actually really good.
I loved it. I thought it was so amazing. So it was great. I loved it. And I cried. Spoiler? Should we spoiler or no spoiler?
I've never seen it.
Are you? I mean, you sort of.
Yeah, don't spoil it. I mean, throw out a couple of teasers though, because it's worth seeing. I mean,
here's what got it for me is that true love is true love, and that can come in many, many, many different forms. And I loved that. I just loved that part of it, and that just made me cry. And Angelina Jolie is a badass bitch.
Holy Schmidt, man.
She was so fabulous. No wonder she took that role. No
Right.
wonder she took that role.
That role was made for her.
It was absolutely. She looks stunning.
Yeah.
But because of her angular features and how they did her makeup, she looks like this gorgeous witch. She looks like this gorgeous bitch.
They really did a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not into that kind of stuff, just watch it for her. I mean,
my husband loved it, and he this was not a movie that he was like, oh, I can't wait to see it. I had been saying, I want to see it, I want to see it, I want to see it. We didn't see it in the theater. We saw it. We saw it on Netflix. And
it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I think it was Netflix. I mean, we saw it at home. Must have been Netflix.
Oh, I have Netflix. Didn't see it.
Oh no, it's
Redbox.
Voodoo.
Oh, Voodoo.
Voodoo. VUDU.
Yep.
Voodoo. It's on Voodoo.
Gotcha.
And then the third movie that I saw, I forgot that I saw Hunger Games.
Oh, how was that?
I didn't read the book. Gavin did. I actually liked it. I thought it was a lot more clever than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be really teenagery, love and romance and blah blah blah, stupid stuff. It wasn't. It was.
Did you take
clever.
Gavin to see it?
We Netflixed it. Yeah, because he read the book.
Voodooed it. Is it already out of the theater?
It's on Netflix. Yeah, Hunger Games. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Which one?
The first one. The
Oh,
first
okay.
one. The first one. Sorry, yeah, the first one.
Okay, my bad. Thought you were talking
First
about
one's
the
a
new
lot better than the second.
Well, the second one.
Did you read the books or no?
No, girlfriend drags me to it.
My daughter
I like
read
your
all the
girlfriend a
books.
lot.
She was real adamant about going to see it while she was out here.
Did she see the second one?
Yeah, she's seen them all.
And she liked it. So Gabe
she
said
thought
no.
the second one was the least of them.
mushy.
Was it mushy? See, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
But she said the third one so far is really good.
Whatever. Yeah. Did your girlfriend like it? Yeah, she liked it. Okay.
So I would recommend that you see a movie called Lucy.
Okay.
I mean, don't watch it with Gavin because I think it's rated R, so there's a little bit of violence or whatever. But the concept of the movie is fantastic. I mean, it involves drugs, but it's not like
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, or that's
No.
not what Lucy is. Okay.
Yeah, no, Lucy's a person.
Okay.
But she just gets drugs. There's some futuristic blue crystalline drug, I don't know, and she's kidnapped and held with like 5 or 6 other people that they're using as human smuggling devices. They do surgery
gotcha.
and they stash drugs in them.
Ooh.
And so when they're all standing in the final room at the beginning of the movie, sending them out, she's in another room, whatever, and or no, I think that's before that. She's hot. She's Charlize Theron. And so she's in there, tied to a chair, half knocked out, and guys coming in trying to touch her and whatever, and they end up beating her up. It releases some of the drugs into her system. Well, it turns out it goes into her brain and expands it to where she can get up to 100% usage of her brain. So the movie follows as her brain increases in activity. And so it's just fascinating to watch in respect to, the limits of our minds.
Interesting.
So, and it's like, I needed eye drops when it was over because I don't recall blinking. Like it's
Yeah. Wow.
wow, this is great. Wow.
Don't you love movies like that when
Yeah.
you can just lose yourself completely?
Yeah, and when it's
Love
over,
that.
you're just so mad because you just want to watch it again for the first time,
Right.
Or B, you wish that it just wouldn't end.
Yeah.
Like those kind of stories are really good.
Sound so geeky. I felt like that in The Hobbit, that I wasn't ready to be done with those guys. I wasn't ready for Bilbo Baggins to
So
save.
is that the final one?
Yeah, because
Okay.
that's the end of the Hobbit book.
Okay.
So
But I
that's-
heard rumor that they might pull out something else. There was
Well, I don't know, because what's next is Lord of the Rings.
Right, but there's some in-between short stories or something
Oh.
that, Peter Jackson can take a 10-page story and turn it into 2 movies.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and I just, it's also when movies are so visually stunning. The Hobbit is filmed on location in New Zealand, and it's just gorgeous. The makeup is amazing. You look at Bilbo Baggins' feet, his Hobbit feet. They're these big, hairy feet. They're just amazing. This little person with these big, hairy Hobbit feet. It's great. So let's take a break, and then when we come back, should we talk a little bit about marijuana in 2014, now that it's the big 2015?
We should.
All right, we'll be right back.
Are you a runner? Are Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
The Law Office of Edson Maton and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson Maton and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
And we're back.
And we're back. A package is being delivered to me, but I don't know who it's from. So I think that's junk mail.
What's in the box?
Right? I love getting stuff ordered or getting stuff in the mail. It's like getting presents.
Guess what I got yesterday?
What'd you get?
My Christmas skirt that I ordered a month ago.
Isn't that awesome? Just
Yesterday.
in time for next Christmas.
Yeah, so I put it in my Christmas box.
That you'll find probably when it's too late next year.
No. I'll open it. Like when we decorate our house next year, I'll have it. So that'll be good.
Nice.
So 2014 was a pretty interesting time here in Colorado. As all of you know, the first marijuana stores opened for people aged 21 and above, which now that it's a year later, does it seem crazy to you at all?
Not in the slightest.
Yeah.
It doesn't, nothing is different. Nothing physically appears different. You know, there's no riots in the streets. There's no giant gangs of people just
zombied out on the marijuana.
You know, I would say I think that public use has probably increased because we're just excited, you know. But and I get why it's kind of a big deal, but anywhere that cigarette smoke is allowed, I think that cannabis use should be considered.
You know, that's the first time. That is the first time that I've heard anybody ever say something that compels me to say that we should talk more about public use. Because my argument all along has been, well, you know what? I mean, unlike drinking, your drinking doesn't affect me. I can't smell it. I can't taste it. But someone's cigarette smoke, which, as you all know, I am 100% so...
You're a huge fan of.
Oh, hate everything tobacco so badly. And in fact, find myself discriminating against people who smoke cigarettes. Like, I have to remind myself that they are not lesser people. Like, it's gotten that horrible.
Well,
I'm just judgmental and terrible.
If you're a cigarette smoker, it's not as bad being around it. Like, if you're a marijuana smoker, it's not so bad being around the smoke. But I went to a concert sometime last year. I don't think I brought any weed, or maybe I had a little in my pocket or something, or however it worked out. And people were smoking around us, and it just stunk. Like, it was hard to breathe. You know, it was really weird.
It is really weird. But, you make a good point that we know there are studies that prove that secondhand smoke cause
Cancer.
A variety of illnesses and diseases, including cancer. And we have decided in Colorado in particular, in Denver in particular, we have some pretty stringent cigarette smoking. You can't smoke anywhere inside.
Is that Clean Air Act? Is that Colorado or is that?
It's Colorado. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you can't, bars, you have to smoke you can only smoke 15 feet away from an entrance, so that the idea is that if you're at a bar, someone can't walk right outside the front door where you have to walk through them to get inside, that they have to move 15 feet away. But I think you make a really good point. So if we make those allowances for cigarette smoke, which I find outrageously distasteful, why can't we make those same allowances for weed smoke?
Right. Because
It's brilliant. You're brilliant.
I got my moments. I mean, cannabis, I understand that it's an intoxicant, but I'm hoping this year we'll get something really going as far as legal areas outside of our own homes to smoke, because that's really the bigger picture, I think, that most of us really didn't take much stock in. That, yes, marijuana, small amounts of marijuana is legal in Colorado. What that means is that we can transport it within the state. We can carry it, which is pretty much what I mean by transport it. Like, you can carry it on your person.
Like that right there is legal for you to have as a non-patient. I'm a non-patient. I'll touch it.
But
this is legal.
You can legally. They're very. I mean, I'm hoping this year we'll get something. Well, that was weird.
We had a weird moment.
Right.
That's what happens when I touched cannabis.
What the fuck is happening? The world changes,
craziness
Georgia.
Happens.
But what also it means is that it's legal to smoke, yes, in your own home or private residence. Yes, or consume. So while that sounds great, it was pretty much that way before we passed that vote anyway. The difference is that anybody over 21 can carry it and legally possess it now, but a certain amount. Because isn't a pound or more still Class 1 felony?
I think less than that is, but I don't know that for sure. I'd have to
ask
a lawyer.
At the beginning of last year, that was what we had found that it was, which is the equivalent to murder. So it was kind of a big deal. You know who made a really huge deal out of it? Robert Chase. Do you remember him?
I bet, of course. You don't forget Robert Chase.
Exactly. Good guy, but he just doesn't breathe. He just talks.
He's a really good guy, actually.
But he's very knowledgeable. Like, I love him because when I need to know something, he's got all of it, the information.
That's right.
And
if you want this much, know that you're going to get this much.
Right.
Which is, that's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's not a bad thing.
Right.
Well, so people came from literally all over the world to go shopping in Colorado. And you guys have all seen, and we'll repeat some of them, all of the figures about the tax revenue that was generated. And I think what's so amazing to me, though, what's so phenomenal is that here we are a year later, and towns and municipalities are still saying no to recreational marijuana.
Right, until they see some of the tax numbers. And then some of them are changing a little, like unincorporated Adams County.
Right. Aurora. Aurora's one of the largest cities in Colorado, and they are a suburb of Denver, and so they
anti-medical marijuana.
Absolutely opposed to this whole marijuana thing until this rec marijuana issue came up, and then they decided.
Wait! Municipalities can add tax to the already designated?
We get money because you guys are going to buy. Oh, yes, please. Oh, yeah. Yes, please. Yes, we're going to do this. We are going to do this. And so, yeah, it's pretty amazing. Some of these municipalities have said, oh, my gosh, we are going to be able to change how we do business because of this. Other places have said, oh, no. Not in our town.
Which is Broomfield, for example. They're still, no, we don't want illegal drugs in our town. Where do you think that we get them if we're not getting them from a store? Like, people in this town sell them.
Well, and how about, that just means that they're going to come to Denver. It's not really that far to get on the highway and come down and get off and go to MMD.
Correct.
That's not that hard. So I just find that interesting that after a year with, as you said, no zombies in the streets, crazy things didn't happen. And while there wasn't an outrageous amount of tax revenue, there was a crazy amount of tax revenue. Millions of dollars were harnessed for the government. Can't argue with the benefit of that.
I mean, last number I saw was over $50 million in generated tax revenue. Not taxable revenue. That was over $500 million. I mean,
So
it's close to $1 billion.
I've got some numbers for you.
Nice.
Pot by the numbers. Let me just say that in Denver, it's not unusual for the Denver Post to have something about some article about marijuana.
I used to save the articles.
And now you don't have enough room.
I stopped because it was just an everyday thing. It got to be ridiculous.
So this was the December 28th last Sunday edition.
That would have been a
of
nice
2014.
Nice little
Nice
collector's
picture.
chunk right there.
You can have this.
Nice.
Yeah, of course
Thanks.
you can. But there's this thing called the internet, and that's where I have all of my important information.
Right.
Yeah.
Tablets. It's like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's an updatable book that
It's
you
just like that.
can. It's amazing.
It's just like that. So there was not one but two sections of the Sunday paper that talked about marijuana. This one is entitled "1 Year After the Leap into Legalization: World's Eyes on Colorado," and it's got some good stuff. But I like.
Does it cover any of the new stuff coming out of Nebraska or Oklahoma?
Not really. Okay, pop by the numbers. 130.3 metric tons, Colorado's annual demand for marijuana. 130.3 tons. I know what a pound
Of weed.
Yeah, of weed. I know what a
Little
pound.
light green nuts.
You have to excuse me. I have a terrible cough. I apologize. I know what a pound looks like. I know what 5 pounds looks like. I know what 100 pounds looks like. I have no idea what 130.3 tons of weed looks like. I don't know. It's amazing.
You said 133?
130.3. We can't take those 3 extra tons.
No.
130.3 metric tons. I also don't know what a metric ton is versus a ton.
I can look it up. I used to remember, but shit.
I expect you. These are things I expect to
Gone.
come out of your head, that
I
you would just
know.
know those things.
I know.
You're the yin to my yang.
I even posted an Einstein quote a little bit ago. I'm tired.
It's okay. All right, shall I go on with numbers? You ready? 485,000 adults who are 21 and older using marijuana regularly at least once a month, or 9% of the state's population. 9% of the state's population. 485,000.
Can I add a number? Mm-hmm. So 130.3, metric tons, but at least tons equals, as long as I did the math right, 260,600 pounds of marijuana.
Yeah, that's amazing. And these numbers, I'm guessing, are just
Black and white numbers. They're not anything that may have fallen through the cracks.
like they're not
black
exactly they're not
markets.
black market numbers exactly.
No, none
These-
of that.
None of that. These are all regulated, licensed marijuana numbers. Okay. 90% out-of-state tourists account for most of the recreational pot sales in the mountain resort communities.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It's probably hitting huge right now with ski season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 7%, the amount of Colorado's annual pot demand purchased by out-of-state tourists, which I think is interesting. So in the mountains, 90% of pot sales are to out-of-staters, but overall, it's only 7%.
So then it's the ski lodges that's killing it.
Killing it.
Those areas. So if you're in one of those dispensaries and you own or work there, you're probably really busy.
So the Breckenridge place that was forced to move off of Main Street, which I think sucked, had to move to a side street. They're still killing it.
Well,
They're still killing it.
Apparently.
Yeah. I hope they're killing it. I want them to kill it. 23%, the amount of Colorado's users population that consumes cannabis almost daily. So a quarter of Colorado's pot smokers smoke every day.
And that's, who knows exactly how they're getting these numbers, because I know personally I didn't get asked that question. Wasn't told. So I think they take 100 or 200 people, whatever, and then they just run a rough average.
Sure.
And it's like, well, what if you picked?
And how many of them lied?
Well, that's
right. Or you picked all the wrong people, or you picked all the right people. I mean,
I think that's interesting because now there's really no reason why people have to lie. So if you come out of a dispensary, you're 21 years of age, you have your little exit bag, you just bought your quarter, and someone wants to ask you a question, you can tell the truth because you know what? I mean, really, unless you work for the federal government and are worried for your job, as long as they keep your anonymity.
Right.
Ready for the next number?
Oh, yeah.
103,918. What do you think that is?
The number of times police still fucked with people?
I was going to say the number of joints sold, but it's the number of medical marijuana patients reporting severe pain as their condition for a license, or 93% of the state's patients. What's on your card?
Pain.
Pain. All right. So that would be 100% of the people in this room.
In this room, right. So that part of the poll is accurate.
That seems to be
we can
right.
verify that.
Right. 9%. Well, because you know what? I mean, I wonder if you pulled that number apart and you looked at, the whole list of coverable diagnoses of things that doctors can make recommendations for marijuana for. There's the number of people who have AIDS or glaucoma or those kinds of things. Those are smaller percentages of people.
Right.
So a greater number of people in the general population have pain issues.
Well, you know how they could have worded this and said 103,918 Coloradans chose not to indulge in painkillers.
Yes, please.
That sounds great.
I took a Tylenol PM the other night.
Well, every great now and then I have to break down and take Advil liquid cap. So I feel you. I
hate that.
But I don't. It's very rare. But it's New Year's Day. Throbbing headache.
Why?
Oh, because I worked a party the night before, did lasers and
fun.
Smoked some weed, so it was just 12 hours of long,
yeah.
By 12:01, I was so beyond ready to go home.
Yeah.
By 6:30 in the morning, I was just wanting to swing on people,
You know who shamed me for taking my Tylenol PM?
Who?
My son.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Every time those ads come on for pharmaceuticals and they talk about the string of side effects, he's always like, "See, you could get cancer for taking that." He doesn't even know what these drugs are for. All he knows is that every single time he hears a ad for a pharmaceutical, that it's got 20 times more bad than.
I love that kid.
Isn't it crazy? He's so afraid, almost to the point where I feel like I've done him a disservice, although a lot of this is coming from television. He's just afraid of things that come in pill form.
Well, he kind of should be. I mean, some of it's good. I mean, there's good antibiotics and there's good probiotics. I mean, there's decent stuff out there.
You're right. But even antibiotics, I mean, he's been on antibiotics once in his life because I've always asked him, does he really need to be on, can't he just get past this? Does he need to be on antibiotics? Because how some people are on antibiotics a lot, and guess what?
They're
immune to those.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
anyway. No, you're absolutely right about that.
Freaking my kid
Congratulations on good son once again.
He is a good boy. Okay, 9%.
The number of times that police let people go without harassing them.
Not this one. This is the price. This is the price drop on an eighth of marijuana flower at a dozen prominent Colorado pot shops from January to December. So in January, it was the average eighth price was $53.88.
Right.
And then in December, it was $48.95.
Wow. Way to really move with the market. But on the other hand, I mean, how long did it take for medical that price war to explode? Yeah. I mean, really, it was 2009, 2010, they started to really go down because the explosion of dispensaries?
Right, as soon as the holder memo. Why don't we take a break and we come back and we'll do the rest of the numbers and talk more about 2014.
Nice.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
The Law Office of Edson, Maton, and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson, Maton, and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
And we're back.
I'm very mad.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's totally, I mean, that's how I felt too.
Thank you.
So.
We were just talking off air about Facebook. Don't ever talk about Facebook. Has this been in my face the whole time?
Quite possibly.
Oh, that's okay. It's just, it's Jeremy's. But I don't want it to be in his face either. Oh, thank you. Now I can see my eyeballs. Okay, so we were going through the Denver Post on the Sunday the 28th, did an entire section entitled 1 Year After the Leap into Legalization, World's Eyes on Colorado. And that is a really cool, so it's the Colorado flag, for those of you that don't know what that looks like. That is, we have the coolest flag.
I'm not very thrilled that they changed the symbol. The state.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that. That's
Right.
stupid. That looks like something that somebody did in
the
their business
70s.
class. Yeah, when they
From
first.
It's like a recycle logo.
It does.
Something, yeah.
That
it's-
is so
it's
dumb.
lousy.
Whoever came up with that stupid idea was like, oh yeah, look, here's something that I got from clip art back
Right.
in 1986.
Right, like it's generic green clip art.
Right. But our flag is still lovely, and in fact, I fly a Colorado flag at my house as opposed to Sometimes we fly the American flag, but for the most part, this is what right now, though, I have a Florida State flag flying in front of my house. It's so painful. So painful, but I do. So anyway, this is the flag, and then down the middle you see a guy going ah, and the leaves, and then this you can hardly tell, but this is some nice tuft of smoke. It's really cool.
It's an epic picture. I'd hang it up at my house.
Yeah, I would too. Actually, I would actually think that people
Like
might want
he's
to.
opening the weed gates. Like he's
Yeah.
shoot us.
He's
Colorado weed
he's
gates of
opening
Eden.
the weed gates. Sorry, excuse me. I know that cough
Okay.
is horrible.
I was reminded,
Give Georgia. Ah.
just so you're aware.
Tell her that I had French fries for dinner, and so I'm not feeling particularly
Fabulous.
hubba hubba. Okay, so
I
back to-
told her that I owed her a hug from you before,
I got.
or
Yeah,
during
Sarah,
the break.
he's got it. We're gonna do it afterwards.
I'm on this.
Okay, so we went through the first couple of numbers, and now here is a number that I have to think about before I say it out loud to make sure that I have all the commas in the right place.
Holy shit.
326,716,273.59. Do this again. 326,716,273.59.
So what was it? 326. So is that going to be the total Total revenue generated?
It is, but believe it or not, that's just medical marijuana sales from January to October 2014.
Okay.
January to October, $326 million.
So
$716,273.59.
more than a quarter? Well, that's about a third of $1 billion in 10 months in one state just for medical.
Just for medical.
And medical, in comparison to rec, is much cheaper. $25, $35 eighths in comparison to the $45 to $65 eighths in rec.
That's right.
But I'm sure we got a number coming up soon.
Okay, so would we like to know this next dollar amount? You can guess what this is going to be without me having you guess. But ready? $246,810,599.03.
If they wouldn't have charged so damn much, the number would have probably been higher. Of course, demand probably hurt. But was that rec sales?
Those are rec sales from January through October.
Okay.
So over $250,000. Over $250,000. I'm sorry, over $250 million. Sorry, $250 million.
Almost.
$246 million.
It's a ridiculous amount of money.
So if we had $1 million bills,
Right, there'd be 246 of them.
Yeah.
And they would have people guarding them.
Be right here.
Well, no, it'd just be a little.
Do you think
it'd
bills
be
would be?
because you can get a stack of ones that's 100.
Okay, it'd be like this.
And so that'd be a good stack. I mean, that would be fucked.
Yeah.
To hold,
Yeah.
right, to hold that in your hand and be like, well, it's $236 million.
I don't think there are $1 million bills though.
No.
That'd be cool though.
No, I've seen $1,000 bills and $500 bills now in like collector stores.
Oh.
They got them in the sleeves and whatever.
Nice. I've
And
never seen those.
those
before.
are pretty cool.
I've seen hundreds, but that's about it for me.
I've seen a 2.
Twos are cool.
Twos are cool.
Useless though. You know what? Super useless. Dollar coins.
Oh, I love those things. I collect them. So
I bet
to me, they're forced money. They're forced savings because
You
it's
don't
like, why spend it? Just throw it aside. It doesn't matter. And then later you find like 50 of them in your stash, and you're like, fuck yeah, $50.
Do you know how to get them so you don't have to worry about it's just not that exciting? Get change out of the light rail ticket sales things. They come in dollar coins.
I don't think I've rode the light rail yet.
Oh, well, I'll take you. All right, and the last number on my anniversary numbers, the pop by the numbers. The number is $60.1 million. What's that?
Taxes.
What do you think, Gabe?
$60.1 million. I have no clue.
Okay. It's the amount Colorado brought in via taxes, licenses, and fees on recreational and medical marijuana from January through October. $60.1 million.
That's kind of stupid. That's like that was mixing two components together.
It's all of it. So everything. That's right.
Right,
So
the taxes, licenses, and all that shit should have been separate. But they blended that in because they didn't want us to know how much they were profiting off of zero.
In licensure.
Because there's nothing. They're like, oh, well, we created this paperwork. Here, it's going to cost you $12,000 to fill it out and send it back to us. And we get to keep that, and we might reject you.
That's right. That's right.
And so it would be nice to know what that number was
Without the
just taxed. Like, what did you raise in taxes from sold marijuana?
Right.
Like, that would be a nice number. But, yeah, that was clever how they lumped those two together. Or those two entirely different topics together. States, fees, and licenses, and then taxes levied on the normal person.
It's pretty crazy. So should we take one last break, come back, and then do kind of our little who allows rec and who doesn't?
Wow, that's cool.
I know this is a present for you.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
The Law Office of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provides criminal defense, family law, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running a medical marijuana center, optional premises cultivation operation, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout the state of Colorado. We're focused on providing high-quality service and customer satisfaction. We will do everything we can to meet your expectations. WarrenEdson.com. Edson, Mayton, and Matz in Denver, 303-831-8188, and in Aspen, 970-948-7183. WarrenEdson.com.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
And we're back.
Excuse me. Sorry. Pardon me.
That was all the weed she was smoking during the break.
I got to tell you that as if I didn't dislike smoking enough, the fact that this is how smokers like live their lives is this coughing thing, this like crap in the back of your throat. Why would you want to do that?
It's not so much that you want to do it, it's that you're addicted. I mean, trying to quit cigarettes is hard.
I'll hold your hand for as long as it takes.
That's why I switched to just the
I'm so
nicotine
happy.
vaping inhalation method. Because at least it doesn't bother people.
Do they have root beer flavored?
Probably.
That'd be cool.
It would be weird, though, to breathe in root beer vapors. Be like taking a bong hit through a beer mug or something.
I like root beer.
I do too, but it has to be like ice cold. And it's just perfect. I know that it's meant to be warm or room temperature. Did you ever know that?
No.
Like, I learned that
Did you
from...
know that? No.
From like a root beer distiller in Broomfield at Broomfield Days one year, and they had their own out there, and it was all warm out in the sun, and they said that's exactly how it was meant to be. The whole making it cold thing is for sissies.
I love being a sissy.
Right, I do
love
too.
it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, it's got to be in an ice cooler and pulled out right before it converts to fucking crystals and shit, because it's beautiful when it's just that like shocking to your throat, cold ass root beer.
You know what else I like? Root beer floats. Have you ever made your own root beer float? Like, I just had vanilla ice cream and just poured root beer over it, and your ice cream gets kind of crystallized, and I love that.
We used to get those at A&W all the time. Go there just for the giant mug. I think I even took one home with me once.
Gavin's got a little one that they gave him, like it's almost like a shot glass size.
Nice.
That A&W gave him.
That would be
It
cool.
was a cool thing to have.
A little mug would have a little handle on it and
Yeah,
everything.
it says A&W. Looks just like the big ones, and it's heavy.
That's cool.
Glass. It's cool.
Nice.
Okay, so this article has a whole bunch of neat articles in it. This section of the paper, but the numbers kind of gave you the overall impression. But I think one of the things that's so interesting is that there is a section that talks about who has moratoriums and who doesn't. And Jeremy pointed out, so the center of the state, Highway 25 runs through the center of the state. Thank you. I-25 runs through the center of the state, and you can see...
No, that's pretty much like the population areas of Colorado,
It is.
though, because Colorado's a big square, more rectangle-ish a bit, and it's really empty.
Right. The Warren always says the statistics, I forget, but something like 2/3 of the population of the state live within 70 miles or something, or 90 miles of Denver.
That's believable.
It's an enormous.
Because that covers Fort Collins down
Right.
to Colorado Springs.
That's right.
And so that's
right.
absolutely the way it is. And you can drive out east, southeast, and drive out into the middle of nowhere and not run into people for a long time.
That's right. That's right. And so the counties or the municipalities that support legalization, and this also represents a lot of what the support on Amendment 64 looked like as well. So there are a few municipalities in that center of the state where the bulk of the population are that prohibit new establishments, but they allow existing medical marijuana shops to move to recreational. There's lots of them that allow recreational. There are some that allow cultivation and product manufacturing and testing, but don't allow sales. There's one that allows sales and cultivation only, but no testing for some reason. I thought that was kind of funny. There's another area that allows just cultivation, and then the rest of the gray areas are the counties that said, no, thank you. Those are the poor counties. That
some of them are
don't have-
understandable because there's probably 10
7
people that live in there. Yeah.
yeah.
But that's a lot of gray counties. A lot of
Well,
gray
you would think that
municipalities.
if you had miles and miles of land, why wouldn't you want to
lease it
lease
out.
it out?
Right? You could make mad bank if you had acres. If you had piles of acreage.
And someone could
sitting
put
around.
greenhouses on it. There certainly is the way to try to do outdoor, but greenhouses are a brilliant idea. But, that's all part of what's going to happen in 2015, I think.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to make some headway on the legal places to gather and smoke, and better. We got this whole empty state that we could be utilizing for hemp, for all kinds of things. I'm not saying we should fill all the gray areas, all the empty spots
right.
here with gardens, but although it would be awfully pretty.
It would be so pretty. What was interesting was, in going through, I think I just said, 3 times in one sentence.
It happens.
In going through the year-end information, there was a few black marks over the course of the year, and they really did revolve around edibles. And when I say black marks, I'm talking about things that happen to people that are sad and scary and are being attributed to legalization. And as I said, they primarily have been focused around edibles, and we've talked about both of those stories. The 19-year-old kid who somehow ended up
ate a cookie and then jumped out of a hotel or something.
Fell out of a hotel, jumped out of a hotel. A gentleman who also ate an edible and ended up that same night shooting and killing his wife. And those things are being attributed to legalization. And then kind of the third big black mark is the fact that, as we talked about week before last, the lawsuit against Colorado by our neighboring states saying that our legalization has put them in a negative position with the pounds and pounds and pounds that are coming in illegally and moving towards the black market. Which may be because of legalization, although I still question how that happens, because if someone's coming here from Nebraska and they can only buy 7 grams at a time, they're not getting this from stores.
Right.
They're getting this from someone else.
I think if you were to go and say that there's a whole lot of marijuana growing in Colorado, be it caregiver, be it store, be it something that, and not all the stores that are open are playing by the rules either. I don't want to bring up Cam, but I just saw on Facebook that one of our dispensaries here is officially shut down now. It's Cam. I don't know how many locations they have, but it was my understanding from what I read that they were shut down because the owner was falsifying documents and forging signatures and whatnot. So who knows how this system, we're at the very infancy stages.
I guess my point sort of is that I don't know that there is a larger amount of marijuana moving from Colorado to Nebraska than there was in 2010. I don't know that. I don't know if there is or there isn't. What I know is that the recreational sales that are regulated, certainly you can skirt around those regulations. But again, I don't think that that's where Joe Schmo is buying his weed to go and sell in Omaha. And if he is, he's not doing it through the front of the house. He's doing it through an already shady business owner.
Right. So, but that's the thing. If they would start changing everything instead of blaming Colorado for a rise in their pot problem, maybe they should consider legalization too. And guess what won't travel through their state anymore? They can claim some of that too.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But hopefully all the money, all those numbers that you were reading off will start clicking. in other places. I mean, if nothing else, all the entrepreneurs in all the other states will start fighting, and they're like, holy fuck, we are losing billions of dollars every year that we don't get to do this.
That's right. People are gonna buy pot. I mean, they're gonna do it. Let's capitalize on that. I think 2015 also is the year of Oregon and Alaska.
Oh, yeah.
Super excited to see what happens to both of those states and how legalization affects their revenue, what their delivery method, sales, stores, those kinds of things, what their regulations look like. I mean, Oregon's already been really smart in terms of their taxation, learning from us.
But Oregon has such a larger limit, too. You can have 24 usable ounces of cannabis in your home. Well, see, but how does that work here? We're allowed, if you're a medical patient, you're allowed 2 ounces of usable cannabis. What if you're growing your 6 plants? I mean, are you allowed to store your 3 extra excess pounds in your house legally? Or if they come in, I mean, these are all questions that have been going on and probably answered for the last 6-7 years. But still, with the rules changing constantly, it's hard for any of us to know what's going on. If you're in the industry, if you're not in the industry or even involved or even paying that much attention, don't.
Then why are you listening to us?
Right, exactly. but just don't.
Thank you.
Don't start, because it gets so much weirder. You just wait until all they're done, if they ever are. Wait for the final version, if you will, because we're the beta version.
Oh my gosh. And it'll be like that for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Like that for a while. What was interesting was last January, I felt like every time you turned on the news, listened to the radio, opened a newspaper, all you heard, I mean, to the point where it was obnoxious. All you saw was someone doing that, smoking a bowl, smoking a joint. Or blinds. Oh, and
it's leveled out a lot.
Now the only time we hear anything is when there's something actually interesting going on.
Right, but there's no stories. There's no more coverage. No more anything. Nobody. It was big and it's done.
Yep, there were lines around the block for all of the stores that were open at the very beginning, and now, New Year's Eve day. Lines around the block. 420, there'll be lines around the block. Someone has a big sale, there'll be lines around the block. But for the most part, it mellowed pretty quickly, actually.
Much quicker than I kind of expected. I mean, less than a year, and you couldn't really tell going anywhere that it's legal.
Yeah.
I mean, other than their storefronts on Main Street.
That's pretty cool.
In Denver. Other than that, I mean, shit, we barely even do the rallies at the Capitol anymore. Because it's hard to have a focal point. Like we won the battle that we've been out there for the last decade trying to achieve, at least in general.
Fake it till you make it, and we made it.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
So, yep. Any expectations for 2015? Any beginning of the year predictions or anything like that?
I mean, I think we're going to see a lot more places open up as these municipalities decide that they want to get in on it, and that moratoriums really don't make people any safer.
No, it just prevents the inevitable.
What do you think? Any predictions?
I don't know. I mean, I'm scared for 2016.
Oh.
Because it's presidential election year, and the way that our country goes, we go red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. Well, we're in the blue right now, which, I mean, I'm not Republican or Democrat, but how I see it is that Democrats are cool with us having our weed. They don't feel like we need to be jailed for it, and they just want some of the pie. I'm cool with that. And my impression from Republicans are that they don't like marijuana, they don't like us, and they don't like us and marijuana put together, but they love money. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to work out.
It'll be interesting.
But the conservatives don't care enough about money. They want it to be the way it was, which they should re-illegalize alcohol as well. But whatever.
Horse is out of the barn.
So I don't really know. I don't really have too many predictions for 2015. I really hope, though, that it's the year that we make progress on outdoor grows and, like, I don't want to say pot bars, but...
No, I just like what you said about you ought to be able to smoke where you can smoke.
I want equality. If we're playing the Clean Air Act, if I can't smoke a bowl inside because it violates the Clean Air Act, then allow me the same respect that a cigarette smoker can enjoy outside, even though his pack says it contains ingredients that cause cancer. Ours helps cure cancer. So, I don't know, just level the playing field. I'm hoping that we get to level it a little bit more this year.
I love it.
That's what I want to work on.
I love it. Can I say one more thing before we sign off?
Yes.
I need everybody's help.
Okay.
I'm doing this thing. Are you ready for my thing? My 2015 thing?
Bust it out.
I am doing what's called a streak.
Okay.
Let's go straight.
Is it in the quad?
No.
Damn.
I'm doing a running streak where I run every day for the entire year.
Holy Schmidt. Okay.
Are you however many days in?
Yep. Absolutely. Minimum of a mile. And it has to be like a consecutive run every single day. 5 days in. 5 days in. 360 more to go. But I want you guys to keep me honest and keep me on top of it and make sure that I do this.
Okay, so I guess we'll have to have a 2-minute update every single radio show about your previous
2 minutes
weeks.
is a lot for me to talk about running. A lot. How about 20 seconds?
We'd have the 30-second Georgia spot.
30
We'll talk about running, your favorite shoes that particular time, because we don't know. I mean, I'm not a runner, so
I bought a
I
new
don't
running
know.
belt today. I'll tell you guys about
These
that
are
next week.
fascinating things that we actually might want to know. My therapist today told me that I needed to start engaging in like yoga or more meditation, but not standard meditation, but it's got to be some kind of physical meditation. So
Nice.
I guess got to try to do what Doc says.
Sounds good to me.
So-
All right. Well, we are going to have a fun show next week. We have the folks from Can Labs coming to talk about testing and what they've experienced in the year that they've been doing mandatory testing. Well, actually, 6 months that they've been doing mandatory testing. And what they see in the future and all those kinds of things. So, yeah, we'll be excited to talk to the folks from Can Labs next week.
Nice.
I'm Georgia.
I'm Jeremy.
We'll see you next week.
Have a great week.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Yeah, like they're all